Aloha, everyone. We have Shelby, Seaman, Miriam, Helen, Faith, and Isim here today, and we're all going to have some fun making yarn lei. And this is the lei that we use very, very often. So it would be very useful to know how to make this lei. I'm going to show you some materials. Now I have, first of all, I'll share with you my loot from Kauai. I go to Ace Hardware, and inside Ace Hardware, where you have paint, ladders, hammers, all kinds of things, there's a shop in there called Benjamin Franklin, and they sell all kinds of crafts. So I'm going to just show you this yarn. These are all eyelash yarns. So this is Iki, and this is like they're meant to be flowers. Iki, there's Kui, and Kui is a bit, you can't really see it very well, but it's kind of sparkly. So Kui is sparkly. And Pua. Pua is just like what I passed to you in class. It's like jazz. It's got long eyelashes. So these would make a very fluffy lei because of the long eyelashes. So they're all eyelash lei because they've all got eyelashes, but it's different length of eyelash. Now this is very useful. This one is called ali'i. And ali'i means chief. So only the chiefs were able to wear lei hulu. And hulu, from our previous workshop, you know it means feather. So the bird catchers, they didn't exactly catch the bird. They only harvested the feathers little by little so the bird could live. They didn't kill the bird. So this yarn actually simulates hulu. It's really quite amazing. When you make the lei, it kind of looks like how the feather lei looks like. And this is exact one that you got in class, a present from Miriam. So Miriam got a whole bag full of this kind of lei. And in Spotlight, if you can find it, it's called Flurry. So ali'i means chief, and this one I bought on Kauai. These are all meant for yarn lei. So that's why if you go to that section of Benjamin Franklin, you'll see everything you need for lei making. This is the straw that I bought from there as well. So this straw is very sturdy. So you have to go and get your own straw because I don't have enough of this. So I reuse this over and over again, and it's sturdy enough. It will stand the test of time. So you don't, it's not a one-use plastic. You can reuse it. That's my straw. And basically this is called straw lei because you use a straw. And of course, you need ribbon. Now, the ribbon that I have is gross grain. So you can't really, there, okay, you can see it when the light shines. It's got these ribs. And this is good because when you tie the lei around your neck, the slippery satin one, sometimes it becomes undone because it's so slippery, but this one is a little bit better. You can tie it and then probably less chance of it slipping off. Okay, so if you don't have your straw or your materials like tape, of course you need tape, and you need scissors. That's like, as per normal with most crafts. If you don't have that later on, you can, I'll give you some time to get all that together. But I'm just going to tell you the really simple technique of doing yarn lei. So first of all, this ribbon has to go into this straw. Okay, so this ribbon goes into this straw. If you can kind of curl it around, you can kind of twist it and put it in. But I tie a smaller string to the ribbon. So once I tie the smaller string, it's really easy because the smaller string just goes into the straw. It's so simple. And, if I just use the ribbon, I have to, kind of twist it, and then it'll go in slowly. But since this is a small string, it just comes out the other side, and then you just take it and pull, and da 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 da, yay. There it comes. So what you need to do is tape the ribbon to the end of the straw. Now, you know me, I'm very gyasu and a safety girl. So I always make sure that it's super duper tight Because what happens is if the ribbon falls out of the straw, like you're making the lei, and it comes through, then it's going to be difficult to rethread it. And when you continue your twisting of the yarn, sometimes you have a little bit of a kink or a loop or a straggly area. So you kind of see, oh, the lei looks nice, and then something happened, and that's when the ribbon went through. So I like to tape it to the end. So maybe just like 2 cm like that, and pull it down. And I like to tape it until it goes around and around and around. So, and then after that, I kind of just use my fingernail and make sure that it's on there, because sometimes I have pulled it out before. So when the tape is not really sticky enough, or you just stuck it but you didn't really make sure that it's really on. So I like to like just use my thumbnail and just make sure it's really stuck on tight, so that when you pull, so this is the stuck on portion, when you pull the ribbon, it doesn't come undone. Okay, so that's just in case. So now you have the ribbon coming out of the straw. It's super simple. You are going to take the yarn, and I have the one that Seaman posted on our group chat. I have the crazy yarn that's purple and blue and green, and this is super. I love this. I bought this a long time ago, and it makes beautiful lei. I love this color. Well, colors, so many colors. Okay, what you want to do is take the end of the the yarn, and you're going to tie it around. But I have noticed that when I buy my yarn from Spotlight, sometimes I'm unraveling it, and in the middle of the ball of yarn, there is a tangle or a knot. I can see Miriam and Seaman nodding, and it's really frustrating because you're in the middle of your craft, and then you have to deal with this knot, and sometimes it's just so knotty that you can't untangle yourself, and then you have a problem. So, oh, Miriam, are you showing us something? So what I like to do is I like to unravel the entire ball of yarn and check for knots inside the ball of yarn, because sometimes it's inside. So I unravel the whole thing and drop it down into a pile. So when I unravel the whole thing, I drop it neatly into a pile. So that I know that when I pick it up again from the end, it's going to be a nice untangled length of yarn. If you're joining yarn, you should join it beforehand instead of join it while you're making it. So here I have a double knot. So I've joined two pieces of yarn together, and that's how you can make lei ai if the ball of yarn is not adequate for a lei ai. Sometimes when you use flurry, for instance, you have enough for lei po'o, which is for the head. So if you want a longer one, you should do your joining beforehand. Okay, so now that we got untangled, if there's a tangle, it doesn't happen all the time, but when it does happen, it's very frustrating. Okay, so this is the bottom of the straw. Remember, we taped up the top, and I like to make a little, what do you call it? I fold it in so that when I want to rip the tape off, I can find the tab. So I kind of make a little tab, if you can see it properly. There's a little tab. So I fold the scotch tape in, so I know I just have to give it a tug and it opens up. So that's a little, it'll make your life easier. Otherwise, you'll be like those, in Chinese New Year, and you want to open your snacks, and then you're trying to find the end of the scotch tape, and you spend like hours trying to find the end of the scotch tape, and you scratch, 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 and you can't get to the snacks. Okay, Shelby is nodding and laughing. She's been there before. It's really frustrating. So to reduce our frustration and increase our joy, this is some of the things that we can do. Okay, so we're going to tie the end. I found the end of the yarn. We're going to tie it around the bottom of the ribbon at the bottom of the straw. Okay, so this is a very normal knot. Kana-san was, I remember Kana-san was asking me how to do a knot, and I was like, oh, I don't really know how to explain it. So it's it's your normal knot. You make a loop, the rabbit goes around the loop, and then the rabbit goes through the loop, and then here we go. It's a knot, and then you pull it tight. Okay, so here comes the secret. Okay, I'm safety girl, right? I always make 2 knots or 3, just in case. Here comes a little bit of like a what do you call that? Troubleshoot. So if you want to troubleshoot beforehand, make your life easier, it's good to tape up the end. Because what happens, I've noticed sometimes, when you're pushing the yarn down, you lose the end, and the end goes into the lay, and that has happened to me a couple of times. So what I like to do is just tape up the end. So there's a tab here, so I know I'm going to pull this tab. You'll know why later on. It's just that just so that the end doesn't fall inside the lay, inside the whole mass of yarn. Okay, you're going to push this to the end where the straw is. So now you have straw at the base, ribbon coming out, and right at the base of the straw, the yarn. And you have a knot. I always make 2 knots or 3 knots, and you have the little tab, Scotch tape. So this is to prevent this little end from going inside, going underneath. Now here comes the part that's really, really you can watch TV doing it. It's really monotonous, but it's kind of therapeutic as well. It depends on your mindset. If you feel frustrated, you can watch TV while doing it. Something that you cannot do when making lei hulu. So lei hulu, you need all your concentration because that's really, really difficult to do. But this one is super easy. So basically, you're going to wind it around the straw. Okay, and when you wind the yarn around the straw, okay, I'm gonna work this way. I'm gonna hold it with my right and hold the yarn with my left. If you want to do it the opposite way, it's okay. It doesn't matter. It's like a candy cane, a peppermint cane. You know the stripes on a candy cane? It's kind of like slanted. So you want kind of like one finger distance apart, so not too close together. And then here is the another important thing: don't let this end get slack. So if this end becomes slack like this, can you see what happens? Everything gets slack, and then when you push it down, you'll get a loop here. So maintain that tension. So when I push this, when I want to push all this yarn down, okay, I'm going to do it one more time. So usually I do it really, really quick because it's my hands know what to do, but I'm going to do it slower this time. Okay, so I'm going to wind it around and I'm going to apply some pressure. I'm pulling the yarn a little bit. Okay, I'm going to apply some pressure. Don't let it go slack. And then what I do is I hold the yarn with my fingers, and with my index and my thumb, I'm going to push it down. So what you need to do is push all this down. And then what I like to do is put my finger here so that there's an equal amount of tension. So what you don't want is loopy lei. So you don't want like a little bit of the lei to stick out and make loops, yeah, kind of kinky and loopy. So then you push it down. So after you finish this, and I kind of go really, really fast, and I do this while doing other things. So I'm like multitasking. So once you've done a fair amount, this is another important thing that you need to know. Okay, so I'm making these candy cane loops and keeping the pressure all the time. So all the time I'm keeping the pressure, pulling a little bit, and then don't let go of it, push it down. So keeping the tension, don't let go, hold it, and then push it down so that you have a lei that is even. Okay, so now that you have a certain amount of lei on the straw, you want to push it onto the ribbon, but don't push everything onto the ribbon. Leave about an inch. So from here to here, that's my straw. Okay, from here to here, that's where the yarn is on the straw. You want to push it onto the ribbon. So this is the ribbon. You want to push it onto the ribbon, So you see, it's going to come down onto the ribbon. And you see that tab? So that Scotch tape tab that I had made, you just pull it down. Yeah? But don't put everything onto the ribbon because you need a little bit onto the straw so that you can maintain that tension and then continue. So as you can see, it's really, really simple. The only difficulty about this lei making technique is getting your ball of yarn tangled and keeping the tension even. So let's say you accidentally shoved all that yarn onto the ribbon, and then you have a gap, and then you start again, you'll have that little kink. It's not really a kink, but it'll look like a loop. So you'll have your lei, and then you have the yarn going loopy in a certain section because you didn't maintain the tension. So that's pretty much the only thing you have to look out for. So this is yarn lei, and we wear yarn lei all the time, and it comes in beautiful colors. And when next I go to Kauai, I'm going to buy more of this because I'm running out of ali'i, and we can all have, and they come in beautiful colors. So we can all have ali'i lei that looks like lei hulu. So enjoy your lei making, and feel free to experiment with different kinds of yarn. If you go to Golden Dragon in Chinatown Complex, I think it's called this complex, right, Seaman? Yeah, Chinatown, not Chinatown Center, but Chinatown Complex. Yeah, so Golden Dragon, that's a good place, and Spotlight, but it's sporadic. Sometimes you get beautiful colors, sometimes there's nothing at all. So have fun experimenting with different kinds of eyelash lei, and show me your where are your lei in class, and show everybody what you've made. Okay, that's the instruction part. I'm going to turn off the video.